Yes, and welcome to this brief lecture on the fieldwork paper, which besides your final exam is the last assignment. Your fieldwork paper will count for 20% of your grade. It's based on a total of 10 hours of fieldwork, and that includes preparation. It's due Sunday, December 9th. The first thing you should have been doing is observing a classroom in the school. This observation should take place over 3 to 4 hours. It should occur at a time when instruction is occurring. You can observe the same classroom you went to for the formative assessment fieldwork, or if you want a different experience, you may observe another one. After you observe it, you take notes. We're going to talk about that for a little bit. You're going to write a 4 to 6 page paper summarizing your observation. Note that if you're a practicing teacher, you have to do this assignment in a classroom other than your own. Note that there's a permission to observe form on the course homepage, and you can print that out and give it to a teacher or administrator. It's signed by the Dean of the School of Education. During your observation, you should take detailed notes on activities that relate to all types of assessment. So you're not just looking for formal tests, you're looking for all the types of assessment that we've learned about: informal, formal, formative, summative, performance-based, etc. And the trap that many students fall into here is they just write a lesson description, a summary, instead of tying it into assessment. So at every step along the way, you should be tying your observation into assessment. What are you seeing the teacher do in terms of getting to know what the students understand about concepts, of assessing the students' skills? So don't just write out the lesson as to what she's doing or he's doing. You should also tie it into assessment. You should also provide a context. So where did your observation take place? How many students? The location? What did you see in the classroom? Boys, girls, special ed students. At the end, you should write a 4 to 6 page paper with appropriately formatted citations and references. Your paper should follow a general outline. First, the context of the observation with the details you can see here. The lesson you observed include the standards or learning objectives for the teacher was teaching to. And again, once again, the use of assessment in the classroom should be the major thrust of this paper. So you could comment, for example, what ways were your experiences similar to and different from your prior ideas on assessment? In what ways did the teacher use standards? How did the teacher formatively assess the students? What types of assessments did you see? How often did she assess? Were there any accommodations made for diverse learners? Your reflection piece should be substantial. What did you learn from this experience? And think about specific items. Don't just say that assessment is important, but think about the things that you truly learned. You could start off by thinking, for example, what surprised you, or what did you find interesting? How could you apply what you learned to your future classroom? Um, and then finally, your references in APA style, please. I'd also encourage you to pay attention to the writing feedback you've been given throughout the semester, because I will be checking on those points for each of your individual writing. You're to submit your fieldwork paper on Blackboard and in TaskStream, and you have to fill out a fieldwork form on TaskStream. That is not a separate form that you download, but you'll be taken through a series of questions about the demographics of the school when you go to submit your fieldwork on TaskStream. So any questions, please feel free to email me. The grading scale is here. I would encourage you to print the grading scale out, which is in the assignments folder, and lay it next to your paper and score your paper. So did your paper describe the context of the observation? Did it provide an overview of the lesson, including the standards or goals and objectives? Did it focus primarily on assessment and not just a summary of the lesson, all the different types of assessment you saw occurring? And then a deep and meaningful reflection, what you learned from the experiences. Your references should be formatted in APA, not just in MLA, and not just providing the website at the end. And you should pay attention to your writing conventions and rules. Also including in the grading scales whether you submitted your fieldwork form on task 3. If you observed more hours than the 3 to 4, please make a note of that on your paper and you may be given some extra credit. So thank you for listening, and please email me any questions.